Watford, like any high street in the UK, is seeing the growth of a particular shop. Empty ones, and lots of them. This month, Justin Hort closed his burger restaurant, That Burger. He says from day one, business was tough.
This one opened in August last year, so we lasted about 6 months. The investment was around £300,000, somewhere around there. Now, we allowed ourselves enough capital in that budget to lose £1,000 a week for a year. And we lost it in 6 months, so we were hemorrhaging cash here pretty much. I didn't think it would happen to us. I really didn't. But the more we stayed here and realized that we were never going to develop a nighttime business, we just realized it was no point in staying here.
Latest statistics show 15% vacancy on the high street.
The rent was way too high for what we got out of the footfall.
Something Roger Kagan from the Watford Chamber of Commerce thinks is a real issue for the town.
Rents up and down the country are most part high. I think that that reflects perhaps the good times which have now passed. We're in different times now, and I think in many instances landlords need to be more flexible. They need to offer either a soft start or a rent-free 6 months or rent-free 1 year. So certainly I think landlords need to look at the rents that they're charging, and I think they need to be more realistic in the times that we're now in.
If you walk up and down this high street, you'll see that there's loads of shops that are closing. High street here, really, there's not much left on it. There's charity shops and there's pound shops, and there's no real reason for someone with a bit of money to spend to come up to this side. They've got everything in the Harlequin.
For Justin, the banking crisis was bad timing. He says his bank became risk averse. But Roger Kagan can see it from both sides.
Yes, I do think the banks need to be more flexible. But of course, we all know that the banks have been hit very hard in the recession. They've lost an awful lot of money. Perhaps they were a little bit too generous in the good days, but of course this is not the good days. And now, of course, they are quite rightly very careful about who they lend money to. The propositions must stack up. They're being much more selective. I do understand that, but of course that doesn't help the small trade or the small business who actually needs money. And I think the banks have to decide who they can back and who they can't back. And yes, perhaps in the present climate they do need to be a little bit more flexible and a little bit more willing to lend. But equally I understand the fact that they don't want to lose more money.
Justin still hopes to reopen That Burger in a new town. But for the time being, that's it for That Burger.